Hello guys, thanks for checking out this video. This is a DM tips video for Vecna, Nest of the Eldritch Eye. I just played this adventure, it was a lot of fun. I recommend it. A short little adventure for us, it was about just over 2 hours long. If you are a player, there'll be lots of spoilers here, so please come back after you play the adventure and let us know how it went. The lead designer for this is Christopher Perkins. The designer is Mackenzie DeArmas. Character levels are for level 3, and CRs totaling 4 or greater would be deadly for 5 level 3 PCs using the lazy encounter benchmark. I'll put a link below for that. I also increased the damage output for monsters slightly, and just to make things a little bit more challenging, I put a link for that below too. Pacing for 4 hours? Well, let's look at the plot real quick. So first, the party finds a dead man, and that's the picture you're looking at on the screen here. And there's some good art for the adventure. Here's the full art for the adventure. So the party is on patrol in the city of Neverwinter, and they hear a scream. And that scream is actually how I started the adventure. And then I did a flashback before as they were rushing toward the scene of whoever was screaming. To introduce the characters, let them know they're in Neverwinter, let them know they're working for Lord Neverember, and then come back to the scene that they come upon where this man lies dead, clutching a desiccated eyeball in his hand. Now here's the first little hiccup in the adventure. There's not a lot to guide the party to find who did this to this man. At least not really in the adventure. Of course, you can always come up with blood trails back to the catacombs where the party will find the cultists. But the man's sister is there, and she begs the party to seek justice while she goes to report to Lord Neverember. And she reminds the party, and this is important, to take prisoners, because that's where the party will get a little bit more rewards at the end of the adventure. Now, to get past this point, the party needs to find a note on the dead man, and they might not rifle through his belongings out of respect. So I think it's appropriate to have the man's sister look through his belongings and hand the party the scrap of paper that she finds that is the password for the eye. Then the party, if they use that, will be able to use the eye as a compass to lead them to the catacombs of the cultists that did this to this man. So getting to the catacombs will be probably in the first hour. The overall pacing for 4 hours, like I said, it took us about 2.5 hours to run this one. So beginning, Dead Man's Message, and then into the catacombs in the first hour, I would say, and you're going to be hitting the conclusion early in the third hour, just past the 2 hour mark, I would think. That's assuming a pretty fast pace. A more relaxed pace could go for 4 hours or even possibly 2 sessions. The maps that come with the adventure are very nice. I would just use the maps that come with the adventure. Here's those maps here. And as we're going through the adventure, the party's going to descend down into the catacombs here. They're going to come to a decision point where they can follow a passage that goes through some waist-deep, murky sewage / water. And in that path, they could run into a water weird. I made this special water weird token that is kind of a greener color to match the sewage color. And I'll put a link to that in the tokens file. You'll just want to go to d20play.com/tokens/ and then water weird sewage, all one word, .png. Or I also put the water weird I started from there as well. If you want to grab a token for a regular water weird, is there as well. Okay, then in this area 2, there's an area 7 where the party can crawl through a crawlway, and they risk a collapse. So I upped the damage for the collapse, but I made it clear to the party that it could happen. So it's kind of a risk-reward decision for the characters. And then once one of the characters did risk it and go through, they asked if they could shore it up, and I thought, yeah, that makes sense. So think about that. Think about how you want that to run, rather than just, it takes some damage, but it doesn't collapse completely. I think that was a little bit better way to do that. Now, the party can come to this rotunda where there is a ghost. And this is a fun little puzzle. There's a ghost here. There's a couple of tombs. The party can investigate the tombs and find out who the ghost is. My party was full of wizards and artificers, and they were making every religion check and history check and other knowledge check there was in the world, so they were able to figure that out pretty easily. Then you come over here to this old abandoned temple of Agma, and it's full of zombies. Now, as the party's coming down this long corridor, they should see the zombies a ways off, and I didn't want that to happen. So I put a few milling about in the middle of the room, and I'm going to have the other ones, next time I run this, break out of the walls as the party comes into the room. That way, at least as they first step into the room. And I might move this one over a little bit so it's not right on top of and behind them. That way they can fall back if they need to, but they won't be sniping from way back in the back, which would be kind of a boring encounter, because one thing you want them to see is that there is a shrine to Ogma on the western wall here, and party can cleanse this shrine and it will help them defeat the zombies. Now that's hard to get through that while you're fighting zombies to get to the shrine. So the party I played with had a cleric who turned the zombies. They killed the zombies and then they investigated the shrine and they were able to cleanse it, and the other zombies were incapacitated, and that worked out perfect. If you don't have a way to turn these zombies, though, might think of another way that they could get distracted for the party to investigate that shrine. All right, and then another way around, if they come through this back way here, is this sludge-filled pool and these remains of cultists who are in the pool as just flesh and matter that the party could run into and fight as 3 gray oozes. That's a pretty tough encounter for a low-level party. They could go through a lot of weapons fighting those oozes. So, and it does telegraph it. They see them when they're standing on the edge. Either side, they see those oozes floating around in there. So it gives them a chance to retreat if they don't want to fight the oozes. Then you come to a great big skull on the wall here with an empty eye socket. You can place the eyeball in, and it will open those doors for you. Then you come down to this chapel area here, and there is a hand bearing an eye, a symbol of Vecna. This would be a great picture for some artists to do. Hopefully someone will do that little chapel there. Got candles burning, black candles burning with green flames all about. Now over to the west, and I missed this in the adventure, the party should see some flickering torchlight, and they might make out some low forms on the ground about human size. And as they kind of sneak in there, they'll see that these guys are sleeping cultists. I don't have a better cultist picture than that. These are Cult of the Dragon cultists. I need to find a better one than that. So the party has a good chance to take some of these guys and interrogate them, and hopefully capture them and bring them back to Neverember, because that's worth a lot of reward if they do. If they go the other direction, they have the little library area here where they can find out more about what's going on in the cult. And then finally, the climatic encounter. And you'll note I have not increased any of these encounters. So you got a CR3 with the Water Weird. These gray oozes are only CR 1/2. And there's 3 of them, so that's not too bad. The zombie encounter can be kind of tough if you don't have any way to do radiant damage or turn them. Their CR is 1/4, so that's a CR 2 total. Still not deadly. But this last encounter, I wanted it to be at least deadly. And as it's written, there's just 2 cultists, 2 shadows, and 1 cult leader. So CR2, 2 CR 1/8, 2 CR 1/2. So that's just over a CR 3. So I upped it. I added a couple more cultists, 1 as a bodyguard for the leader, 1 more in the ritual, therefore 1 more shadow. And this gets you just over a CR 4, up to 4.5 or about, which is good. That way it's actually kind of a challenging encounter. It's not too overboard for 5 characters. Things can be kind of swingy with shadows, though. You never know. And so you can kind of judge if the party defeats the leader, if everything will end right then and there, as a way to kind of end the encounter early if necessary, which I kind of think it should. Have the shadows be sucked back into the ritual circle. They swirl around in the ritual circle, and out of that swirling shadow comes the image of Vecna, who puts his eye on the party and bestows his gifts upon the party after their success in defeating the cult. And he will be watching them from then on as they go on to fight Vecna in Eve of Ruin. So that'll be a good prequel adventure. Now, the prequel adventure is level 3. The main campaign starts at level 10, so there's a big jump there. So that's going through the map. Another thing to do, okay, so we got music here. In the beginning, I used Dark City. That's what's playing right now. I'm going to turn that up. That was patrolling through the dark city of Neverwinter. And then when the party gets down into the Catacombs, Cave of Time, good dripping water sounds and such. And then finally when they get into the ritual chamber, going into the haunted ramparts, kind of ramped up a little bit in volume. As the ritual that's going on here and the green magic swirling about. So that's the music. That's all free in Roll20. And I talked about the tokens and the knowledge information. You can share some of this with the party, but most of it's kind of like stuff you should find out during the adventure. I will put that in the description below as well. So that is Vecna, Nest of the Eldritch Eye, I really like the multi path that the party can take through the adventure and come at it multiple different ways. So let me know how it goes for your group, and thanks for watching.